Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economist YouTube class. In this class, today we will discuss Lucas critique. Lucas critique is very important for UPSC, RBI, IES, and state civil services. And it is particularly most important from interview point of view, because Robert Lucas was born in 1937 and he died in 2023. That means just few months back in 23. He was awarded Nobel Prize in Economic Science in 1995. Lucas is econometrician. He is economist, a statistician, and econometrician. Most of the economists prepared economics model of growth, of finance, of money, anything. Economics model. But he was preparing econometrics model. Econometrics model is superior to general model, because in general model you take y is a function of a plus bx. Y is a function of a plus bx. A is intercept, b is coefficient, and x is anything, population, production, inflation, anything you take. Y is national income, then X is inflation. What is the relation between these two? This is called simple general model. He was in favor of econometrics model. What is the difference between general model and in econometrics model? In general model, there is no place for uncertainty. You have everything better in your agricultural field, fertilizer, seeds, water, everything is there in a proper way. But production becomes very, very less or destroyed. Why? Because sudden snowstorms came. This snowstorm or dust storm, in England, dust storm, in England, snowstorm. In Bihar also sometimes snow from the sky. This type of thing happens. Or a scarcity of water, failure of the monsoon. Failure of the monsoon will lead to the devastation in the all investment in the agricultural field. In case of industries, you might have seen every day in the news fire in the industry, paint industry, big industry, and under fire it is destroyed. This term is known as random disturbance. That random disturbance is used in econometrics model. Random error. You are not in a position to control random error. You might have read Cobb-Douglas production function. In Cobb-Douglas production function, you take production is a function of lambda L to the power alpha K to the power beta. And if you put mu there, this mu is a random error. This mu is this mu shows sudden cold storm, sudden fire, sudden excess water. You might have seen few months back, when most of the country cars are on the road underwater. Not only in India, but also in developed countries. In Germany, France, Italy, in USA. USA is virtually east coast and western coast, some type of hurricane. These are the random disturbance error. So Robert Lucas says that all the production functions, right from the Marshall to down to Keynes, they have not taken into consideration this sudden disturbance, this random disturbance, that is mu or E, generally E, a small e written for error. And therefore, your calculation does not come true. So it will affect the whole decisions. Whole economy has a social framework under which agriculture, industry, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, all are interrelated, interdependent. And if there is a random error of large size, either in primary sector or in secondary sector or in tertiary sector, or in health sector, COVID-19, random error. Never thought that all railways are stopped for several days. There's a huge loss of railway. All aeroplanes are not flying, stand still. They are either in Canada airport or US airport or Dubai airport, no movement. All these are COVID effect. That is random. It is not deliberate, it is random. It cannot be forecasted. And that random error, if you take into account of any production function, utility function, tax function, such type of things you take, this random error, then Lucas says that that is the true econometrics model. And that will give better result, that will lead to the better management, that will lead to the better governance, that will lead to the smooth development. And Lucas criticized the classical and neoclassical and other models which were based upon historical facts. All classical, neoclassical, neoclassical, all are having historical facts on which they developed model. Models developed on historical facts, historical events, historical outcome. On that basis, if you prepare a model, then that is a general model that may not give accurate result if there is sudden fire, sudden earthquake, sudden war, sudden natural calamities, dust storm, snowstorms. So your result will be not satisfactory. Then your model is not satisfactory. Satisfactory model is that model which takes into consideration not only macro things, but it must start from the micro thing. It must start from the consumer, who is the main in all model. So Lucas criticized those models which are based upon historical basis, not considering about the risk, about the sudden error, random disturbance in the production process, not foreseen earlier, that is not included in your model. Then that model cannot give government true way to work out. And that is why this is called Lucas critic. Lucas critic, very important. Lucas critic. In any of the interview nowadays you go, Lucas critic, Robert Lucas contribution, Robert Lucas conception of mixing microeconomics and macroeconomics in one blending. You eat slice, keeping butter on it. And if you add there egg and then bake it, then its taste will be different. It will last more, give more energy. So if you are preparing for the development purpose, any model, that model should take microeconomics and ultimately lead to macroeconomics. So you should not think about microeconomics is different than macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the starting point of macroeconomics, and therefore microeconomics must be taken consideration while you are discussing any macro problems. Take anything. NEET examination is a macro element in all India level, but its effect, its damage is through the micro events led to the spoil of all efforts of the students and put the government under pressure. Wastage of money, it is not the wastage of money of government, it is wastage of money of we people. One examination, twice, thrice, because of these micro. You are talking about macro and not thinking about the micro elements who are disturbing inside, doing nefarious game of leaking out. So Robert Lucas criticized Keynes. He was supporter of Keynes in somewhat, because Keynes is a father of macroeconomics, and Marshall is a father of microeconomics. Lucas' critique is a bridge between Marshall and James Keynes. Lucas' critique shows an interrelationship between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Only then the result will be found in a true sense of its effect and complete result covering all observations. So start from the micro level, and then you proceed towards macro level. Microeconomics and macroeconomics are mingled together, finally, under Lucas' critique. Lucas did not accept microeconomics alone, nor Lucas did not accept macroeconomics alone. There is a difference between Lucas and Keynes. Of course, Keynes was a great economist, and he has written so many books at that time. At that time, there was no Nobel Prize. You will be surprised to note that his name is, James Keynes' name is for Nobel Prize in Peace. Twice, 2 years it was recommended, but it was not given to him, because he was one of the members in the settlement of peace of the World War. And he was not satisfied with the result of other members who wanted to crush Germany 100%. He said, no, this is not the way. Germany is responsible for war, but it is not only Germany. It was also from the British government and US some conditions which created. So such type of decision, one-sided decision, is not sustainable in future. And therefore, 2 times German people have submitted a recommendation for Nobel Prize in Peace to John Maynard Keynes, because at that time there was no economics. Economics was not there, subject was not there for Nobel Prize. Many of us are not knowing that John Maynard Keynes' book, series of books, and all books are full of facts and figures. research work. He was a mathematician. He was also economist. Alfred Marshall was also mathematician. He was economist. Marshall condition, if you read, Marshall says that diagram should not be in main page. It should be in bottom in notes. Diagram is in appendix. Equation is in appendix. Only language, because he had to build faith, regain faith, revive economics of Alfred, of father of economics, Adam Smith, Wealth of Nation, and inquiry into the causes and nature of the wealth of nations. It was being criticized later on that it is only related to wealth. So most of the Christianity priests were against this. They don't like wealth. And therefore, the downfall of economic subject. People were reading theology and philosophy and religion. Economics was not popular. So Alfred Marshall thought to popularize economics among the general people. And therefore Marshall took welfare of the people. First line in the Marshall's book, Principles of Economics. First line. Economics is a science for consumers' behavior. So in the first page, he mentioned about the poverty and the betterment of the people's life. First page, opening page, that he was very painful for that. So Lucas' critique is most important factor which we are today discussing. Actually, there was an economist, Uzawa, in some of the universities, post-graduation, Uzawa model is being taught. Uzawa developed an endogenous growth model, and which was used by Lucas thereafter. And Lucas' critiques of macroeconomic, econometric models was published in 1976. Article. What Lucas said? Lucas said the radical postulates highlighted by the Lucas critic set the stage for substantial transformation in econometric policy evaluation. Lucas was interested in transformation in econometric policy evaluation. This critic served as a catalyst for the evolution of economic models and breathed life into a new wave of thought. Previously, most of the models were built on the preconceived behavioral rules. Mind it, previously, most models were built on preconceived behavioral rules. Lucas' critique led to fundamental changes, pushing economists to construct models based on the assumption grounded in theory. This led to the development of models with microeconomics foundations that exhibit dynamic responses to policy changes. As a result of these changes, new type of econometrics model emerged fulfilling the premise of Lucas critique. Rational expectation is the most important term for which Lucas is very much known. Models start respecting rational expectations, opening to the possibility that people might change their behavior according to policy changes. Rational expectations was developed by Lucas model. Models starts respecting rational expectations, opening to the possibility that people might change their behavior according to policy changes. Lucas' critique fundamentally transformed the path of econometrics policy evaluation. It pushed econometricians to start from base level microeconomics, the individual utility maximizing behavior, and to build up macroeconomic predictions. This marked a new approach to econometrics modeling, investigating the rational expectations, revolution, and driving the macroeconomic policy towards rules rather than their discretion. Exploring the profound impact of Lucas' critique, it becomes clear just now it reshaped the technique of econometric policy evaluation, elevating the field to a new level of accuracy and detail. This transformation has significantly influenced the accuracy of policy projections and the success of economic stabilization efforts. Using this newfound understanding of the policy variability, consider how these critiques led to advancement in model development. Lucas' critique model led to advancement in model development under 3 stages. First stage, model adaptations. First step, model adaptations. Second stage, micro foundational approach. Second micro foundational approach. Third, rational expectation. Model adaptation. Number 1, model adaptation. Number 2, micro foundational approach. Number 3, rational expectation. These 3 are the main facts in Lucas' critique model. And finally, Lucas' critique was accepted into, he was born in 1937 and died just last year, 2023. Therefore, for economic student, either in written test or in an interview, this Robert Lucas model is very important that I will discuss Lucas' critique, Lucas' growth model. Likewise, Lucas' creation that shifted the method of research, that shifted the where to develop and how to develop. And a stochastic model. What is suggested? A stochastic model, not general model. General model neglect risk uncertainty. And a stochastic model, everything then plus random disturbance. And therefore, results will be brought out. What are the reasons of any lapses that you can catch up with the help of random disturbance? Which, which, which factor is responsible? Sudden earthquake, sudden COVID, 100 years after COVID. Big nations, flat, dead bodies in queue for cremation. This was situation in the USA, in Canada, in Germany, France, Italy, in our country. And it is not a new thing. 100 years back, there was an epidemic in India. It is known as influenza epidemic. And population was affected, growth of population. Death rate increased. And therefore, in that year, there is fall in the population in the census. Every year there is increase, but on that year, because of the influenza epidemic, in India it was called a Spanish influenza epidemic, and people died. Mahatma Gandhi was there at that time in Varda. He was also affected, but he cured. Movement at that time moved to South India. Then there was a spread of a Spanish influenza epidemic in South India, and several people died. In North India, several people died. So these are the primary discussion to warm you up to take interest in this Lucas critique. Robert Lucas, (1937) 2023. Was awarded Nobel Prize in Economics for having developed for having developed and applied the hypothesis of rational expectation rational expectations, rational expectations, and thereby transformed and thereby transformed thereby transformed macroeconomic analysis, macro macroeconomic macroeconomic analysis and depend depend our understanding understanding of economic policy, economic policy. Ujawa, economist, developed an endogenous growth model and endogenous growth model based on investment, investment in human capital, human capital, which was used which was used which were used by Lucas. Lucas assumes that investment Lucas assumes that investment Lucas assumes that investment on education investment on education leads leads to the production leads to the production leads to the production of human capital, which is the crucial determinant crucial determinant crucial determinant in the growth process in the growth process in the growth process. This is Lucas model. This is Lucas. This is Lucas growth model. Lucas critique Lucas critique The Lucas critique of macroeconomics, critique of macroeconometric model, macroeconometric models, macroeconomic models was was published in 1976 in his research paper. How Lucas critique how Lucas critique transforms econometric evaluation Lucas, how Lucas critique transforms econometric evaluation. The radical postulates radical postulates postulates highlighted highlighted by the Lucas critique. Lucas critique set the stage for substantial the stage for substantial for substantial substantial transformations in econometric policy evaluation in econometric policy evaluation. The critics served as a catalyst Lucas critic served as a served as a catalyst for the evolution for the evolution of economic model, evolution of economic model, evolution of economic models, and breathed life life into a new wave of thought. Previously, most models previously most models were built here. Most models were built on preconceived 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 behavioral behavioral rules. Lucas critic Lucas Lucas critic led to fundamental changes fundamental changes fundamental changes pushing economists pushing economists pushing economists pushing economists to construct to construct models to construct models based on assumption assumptions grounded in theory. Thus leading to thus thus leading to thus leading to leading to the leading to the development of models. Development of models with microeconomic foundation, with micro economic foundations that exhibit dynamic responses dynamic responses to policy changes, to policy changes. As a result of the changes, as a result, as a result of the changes of these changes, as a result of the changes, new type new type of econometric models emerged, fulfilling the premise of Lucas critique. Lucas critique. Let us consider an econometric model without rational expectation. Let us consider an econometric model and econometric model without rational expectations. expectations in it the economic output YT can be represented as a linear function of the policy of the policy of the policy variable. XT. And a stochastic error, a stochastic error term ET YT YT is equal to A XT plus ET. If the policy changes, if the policy changes, Lucas critic insist insist that the coefficient A will also change which means the models models structure will transform will transform using this newfound understanding of policy, variability, variability, consider variability, consider how these getting, consider how these critics led to advancement, how these critics 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 led to advancement, led to advancements in model development, in model model development. Number one, model adaptations. Model adaptations. Adaptations. Number two, micro foundational approach. Micro approach. Number three, rational expectations. Rational expectations. Model adaptations. Model adaptations. Model adaptations. Model adaptations acknowledged. Acknowledged the influence of policy changes of policy changes and deducted and deducted that it alters the fundamental structure, fundamental fundamental structure of the model. Model adaptations. Model adaptations acknowledged the influence of policy changes, and deducted that it alters the fundamental structure of the model. And deducted that it alters the fundamental structure of the model. This is the first. Second is micro foundational approach. Micro foundational approach. Econometric models began to detail individual level behaviors. Individual level behaviors, incorporating data-backed incorporating data-backed micro foundations. Micro foundations into their evaluative structure. Evaluative structure. Micro foundational approach micro foundational approach refer to the incorporations, refer to the incorporations of individual level of individual level behaviors into macroeconomic model, into macroeconomic models to describe aggregate phenomena, to describe aggregate phenomena. Rational expectations. Models start respecting rational expectation, opening to the opening to the possibility that people might change. People might change their behavior. their behavior according to policy changes. According to policy changes. Policy changes. Lucas critic fundamentally fundamentally transformed the path of econometric, the path of econometric policy evaluation. It pushed it pushed econometrician econometricians to start from base level, from base level microeconomics, the individual, the individual utility maximizing behavior, utility maximizing behavior and to build up macroeconomic predictions, macroeconomic prediction, and to build up macroeconomic macro eco macroeconomic predictions. This marked a new approach, a new approach to econometric modeling, to econometric modeling, instigating instigating the radical expectations, instigating the radical expectations, radical expectations, revolution, and driving macroeconomic, macroeconomic policy towards rules rather than discretion, rather than discretion. This discretion. Explaining the profound impact, explaining explaining the profound impact, the profound impact of Lucas critique Lucas critique it becomes clear it becomes clear just how it how it reshaped reshaped re reshaped the technique of econometric econometric policy policy evaluation policy evaluation elevating elevating the field to a new level of accuracy and detailed detailed explaining the profound impact of Lucas critique, it becomes clear just how it reshaped the technique of econometric policy evaluation, elevating the field to a new level of accuracy and detail. This transformation this transformation has significantly had significantly significantly influenced the accuracy of policy, the accuracy of policy projections and the success of economic stabilization and the success of economic stabilization, upwards. Thus, we come to the conclusion that Lucas model Lucas critique. First thing we have to know. Lucas critique, Robert Lucas, 1937, birth 2023, death. Was awarded 1995 Nobel Prize in Economics for having developed and applied the hypothesis of rational expectation and thereby transformed macroeconomic analysis and deepened our understanding of economic policy. Lucas' critique of macroeconometrics model was published in 1976 in a research paper of Robert Lucas. Using this newfound understanding of policy variability, he has suggested 3 steps: model adaptations, micro foundational approach, and rational expectation. What is model adaptations? Model adaptations acknowledged the influence of the policy changes and deducted it alters the fundamental structure of the model. Micro foundation approach is the second step. Econometrics models began to detail individual level behaviors, incorporating data-backed micro foundations into their evaluative structure. Micro foundational approach refer to the incorporation of individual level behavior into macroeconomic models to describe the aggregate phenomenon. And then rational expectation. This is very popular. Rational expectation means Lucas model. Rational expectations states that model starts respecting rational expectations opening the possibility of that people might change their behavior according to the policy changes. Recently in the election in India, 400 par, that was the slogan. And under current, they were not going to meet inside the village people who were influenced by opposition party, and people might change their behavior according to the policy changes. Khatakhut, khatakhut, khatakhut. At that time, I said in the class that this khatakhut, khatakhut may perturb the mind of the person who are not mature, who are not educated, who are not exposed to the present world. They are innocent. They believe in what they are they receive from their leader. Their leader says that on that date, Mr. X will not be Prime Minister. From that date, you come to the office of party office and collect money. They have had in their hand printed document of certification that you will get it. This was enough. I remember in 1974-5, there was at that time, there was, in 1974, there was a population policy passed in the parliament in which compulsory sterilization, Nasbandi, was passed. 1974 Indian population policy, and that Congress government passed it. And that time leader, not present leader, the leader which was killed in aeroplane accident in Delhi itself, second son of respected Srimati Indira Gandhi. He died in an air crash. He was asking that why there is so crowd in Chandni Chowk. Then the persons behind him said that because of population growth. So why there is growth of population? Then the follower says, sir, it is because of more children in a family. What will be the solution? Sir, sterilization, Nasbandi of all youth, one generation. And suddenly there will be a drop in the birth rate. Then in a railway train, it is a practice in railway train that local people do not buy ticket. Even my state will not ask him. Even the TT will not ask him. They know that they are local. And every 5 stations, there is a local. Every time local will be there. But local will change. Face of local will change. This is the process in Bihar, at least I have seen. I've seen in other state also. But in Bihar, this is ridiculous that in a reserve bogie, the local person. So there was a checking, my state checking, and ticketless travelers were caught. And as it is said, that the punishment was not monetary punishment of 5,000 fine. It was punishment of sterilization, Nasbandi of the people. Large number of people became the victim of that. And at that time, I was a lecturer in Ranchi University, posted in Tata College, Jamshedpur Cooperative College in Jamshedpur, Tata Town. In town, college name is Jamshedpur Cooperative College. Previously, I was in Tata College, Chaivasa, that was in Singhu. But from there, I was transferred to Jamshedpur Tata. I have listened the um, election uh, election uh, the case of election, and there are different types of slogans, etc. And then it was found that large number of youth was caught without ticket, and they are the victim of sterilization, nasbandi. This was in inner current. I exactly remember that when I was in class and I have come outside the teachers club, all teachers, both Hindu, Muslim, uh, Sardar, Sikh, three were there, and someone Parsi also, Bengali. All we sat there in the club, teachers club in the college, and they were discussing that in this election, we all will not, we will defeat the old government. And suddenly, after emergency lifted, because emergency was lifted because CID report were positive that everything is all right, election can be done anytime. We will win, the old government will come. But undercurrent, that is rational expectation. Undercurrent, people might change their behavior according to the policy change. Population policy changed in 1974 by Congress government. Compulsory sterilization, compulsory population control. In our country, there is voluntary. Atmosphere should be created for voluntary control of the family planning, voluntary family planning. People were so much critic about the term family planning. So new government, Janta government came, and this draconian population policy of 1974 were scrapped, and family planning term was withdrawn. Family welfare department. People do not like to see the family planning photo. On road you will see everywhere black painting on that photo. This is Robert Lucas saying that if you are creating a policy, then you must go for rational expectation. That what people are thinking. What people are thinking. I have been teaching for the last 50 years. I have seen all these and experienced all these. So I can correlate, and I can say you that rational expectation means people might change their behavior according to policy changes. Agniveer converted to 4 years package. Some of the youth changed their policy, and some of them are rigid matter. I will go for 4 years, I will go. But some of them shifted to other job, and people might change their behavior. Behavior is not a constant factor. And behavior changes with the change in policy. This khatakhat is a change in policy if the prospective government, if this government will come, khatakhat everything will be done. And mind is so perplexed, confused, distressed that such type of khatakhat give laugh on their face. I have seen in television, many people were laughing as if they are getting khatakhat, money income. They are not thinking that from where that will come. So it is very interesting. And in any interview, if you correlate rational expectations with the events happen in our country, like the 1974 population policy and compulsory sterilization and Nasbandi of the youth, that reflected fall of the government. Likewise, khatakhat, this has given a favorable current in favor of X, and that turned into against the ruling party. People say that they lost in Ayodhya. That is not the thing. Thing is khatakhat is such a on platform. There is a statement by a prospective prime minister in future. Mr. X will not be prime minister on such date. Take it guaranteed. I can give you written, I can sign. Likewise, this jail return chief minister, he said that I can give you affidavit that Mr. X will not return in power. So all these things change the psychological mind and the psychology of the people for which policy is framed. So rational expectation model is very popular, and this has changed the methodology of econometrics model, and Lucas fundamentally transformed the path of econometric policy evaluation. It pushed econometrician to start from base level microeconomics. The individual utility maximization behavior, and to build up macroeconomic predictions. This is related to any government policy, how to remove unemployment, how to get full employment condition, what to do. Go to the grassroots level. Nobody would like to get money without work. If he has some soul, inner soul, sense of responsibility, sense of duty, you give him money free of cost. Why? You give him some work. You are adopting highest level of technology in construction of roads. 6 lanes I have seen in Delhi to Lucknow, 4 lanes, 8 lanes I've seen in Delhi, 8 lanes were constructed. And there is no person to work, everything mechanical. And on the other hand, there is no population policy regarding the size of the family. That is also difficult. Democratic country, you can't force, you can persuade. If you force, the same thing will happen as it happened in 1976 election. Population factor is very, very critical. How to control it? You think tank, give the solution. Religion is also in that. In Hinduism, marriage is essential. If you are married in the society, your position is something different. Marriage is compulsory in Hindu religion. And likewise in other religion also, marriage is there compulsory. Social compulsory. This is different thing that you have a living relationship for 6 years, 4 years. That is another thing. There is also rules and laws. So we conclude that Lucas critique fundamentally transformed the path of econometric policy evaluation. It pushed econometricians to start from base level economic microeconomics, the individual utility maximization behavior, and to build up the macroeconomic predictions. This is called Lucas critique. Now, at last, what I say always, that like it, share it, and like one line comment, because I am visible to you, you are not visible to me. And I have seen that 12, 10, 15 students first day see my classes material. So at least one line you must write that I like this, I want this, that, whatever you feel, a good sense you write, this will give impetus, this will give mental satisfaction that after 50 years teaching, I'm teaching every day, even today. That's all. Thank you.